I will teach you how to achieve your goals faster. Do this now. Fire, my friend, the distance between where you are and where you long to be is not measured in years, effort, or struggle. It is measured in consciousness. The world will tell you that goals take time, that success requires endless labor, and that you must climb a mountain one exhausting step at a time. But the truth is far greater. Your future already exists in seed form within you, waiting only for recognition. The speed with which you achieve your desires is not determined by external conditions, but by the inner state you choose to occupy. If you see your goal as far away, it will always remain far. If you see it as already yours, reality has no choice but to rearrange itself quickly to match your conviction. The secret is not in chasing, but in assuming the end as present, assuming the dream as now, assuming the goal as already achieved. The moment you dare to believe in the reality of the unseen, you collapse the distance and bring tomorrow into today. Imagination precedes reality. The hidden key to achieving goals faster. Everything that exists in your world today once lived in the imagination of someone who dared to believe in it before the world could see it. Your phone, your home, the clothes you wear, even the very words you are hearing now. Each was once only an idea in the invisible realm of thought, and so it is with your goals. If you desire to achieve them faster, you must grasp this eternal truth. Imagination is not a daydreaming faculty, it is the very womb of creation. It is the workshop where all visible things are shaped before they take form. To imagine is not to escape reality, but to give reality its orders. And the speed with which your desires manifest depends entirely on the clarity, persistence, and intensity with which you imagine. You do not wait for the world to give you permission to succeed. You imagine success and watch the world obediently conform. This is the first key, the foundation of all achievement, the truth that imagination always precedes reality. Most people fail to grasp this because they believe life is happening to them rather than through them. They think they must toil endlessly, wait for perfect timing, or hope for luck. But life does not unfold because of luck. It unfolds according to law, the law of imagination. Whatever you vividly imagine with feeling and conviction is compelled to come forth. If you imagine lack, you will walk in lack. If you imagine abundance, doors will open for you. If you imagine delay, everything will slow down. But if you dare to imagine fulfillment as real and present, you collapse the time it would have taken and bring the goal near. Time is not the obstacle. It is only your imagination of time that delays your good. The speed of achievement is governed not by outer circumstances, but by inner vision. Let us take an example. Suppose your goal is to build a business, and you feel discouraged because you see only limitations. No money, no resources, no connections. If you wait until the outer world changes, you may wait a lifetime. But if you close your eyes and begin to imagine yourself already successful, already receiving calls from clients, already signing contracts, already walking in abundance, then you are planting the seed of that business in the soil of imagination. And just as surely as a seed planted in the ground must grow into its appointed form, so too will your inner pictures bloom into outer reality. The law is certain. The imagination is the seed. The outer world is the harvest. The only question is, what are you planting? You must understand that imagination is not a weak fantasy. It is a creative power. When you imagine, you are impressing the subconscious mind, and the subconscious governs the world you live in. The subconscious does not argue. It accepts whatever images and assumptions you persist in holding. If you constantly picture failure, it will make failure appear. If you persistently picture success, it must bring success to pass. And the faster you imprint the subconscious with the end you desire, the faster it must materialize. This is why those who dare to dream vividly, boldly, and consistently always seem to achieve their goals faster than those who work only in the visible world. They understand that imagination is the cause and reality is the effect. To achieve your goals faster, you must live in imagination as though it were already real. This means you must dwell in the feeling of having what you desire, not in the desire itself. Desire says, I want this one day. Imagination says, it is mine already. Desire looks to the future. Imagination brings the future into the present. and once you are able to hold the picture of fulfillment as real, the world will conspire to make it so. Circumstances, people, opportunities, and even seeming coincidences will arise to carry you into the very state you have imagined. What others call luck is simply the outworking of imagination, but here is where many stumble. They imagine their goals for a moment, then return to doubt. They may visualize for 5 minutes, but then spend the rest of the day worrying about why it has not yet come. This is like planting a seed and then digging it up every hour to see if it is growing. Growth cannot happen this way. You must imagine faithfully, persistently, with a sense of certainty that does not waver with appearances. The outer world may show you evidence to the contrary, but you must not be moved. Remember, the outer world is only a shadow of the inner world. Shadows cannot resist the light that casts them. Hold fast to your inner image, and the shadow must change. Imagination not only creates the end result, it also generates the means. Many wonder, how will it happen? But that is not your concern. The how is not your responsibility. It is the responsibility of the creative power within you. Your only duty is to assume the end with faith. The means will arise naturally. The right people will appear. The right doors will open. The right steps will unfold. You may even be moved to take actions you never thought of before, but they will feel inspired, effortless, and timely. The world is reshaped according to your assumption. When you live in the end, life arranges itself in ways you could not have planned with human reason. Think of the sculptor who already sees the finished statue within the stone. Others see only a block of marble, but the sculptor sees the form within. With patient strokes, he reveals it. Similarly, when you imagine your goal is already achieved, you are seeing the finished masterpiece hidden within the present moment. To others, your circumstances may look like an unshaped block, but you already know the reality. You see it within, you feel it within, and because imagination precedes reality, it is only a matter of time before the unseen becomes seen. The clearer your vision, the faster the unveiling. Imagination also dissolves fear, and fear is one of the greatest delays in achieving goals. Fear imagines the opposite of what you want. Fear creates pictures of failure, rejection, loss, or delay. But once you learn to control your imagination, fear loses its grip. Instead of seeing failure, you deliberately see success. Instead of imagining obstacles, you imagine breakthroughs. Instead of dwelling on doubt, you dwell on faith. Fear and faith are both acts of imagination. The only difference is the picture you hold. Choose faith, and your goals will hasten to you. This is why some people rise quickly while others struggle for years. It is not that life favors one over another. It is that some live deliberately in imagination while others drift in fear, doubt, and chance. Those who achieve faster are those who realize that inner vision rules outer fact. They begin with the invisible, they persist in the invisible, and soon the invisible becomes visible. They know that imagination is not make believe, it is making real. So if you would achieve your goals faster, start now. Close your eyes each night and imagine the end fulfilled. Feel the joy of it. Hear the words of congratulations. Walk as though it were already done. Refuse to look at the evidence of the senses when it contradicts your vision. Persist until the unseen takes form. Do not ask when or how. Simply know it is already done. When you adopt this way of living, time bends, opportunities multiply, and life accelerates. You will find yourself in the reality you once only imagined, and you will marvel at how quickly it appeared. Imagination precedes reality. That is the truth. You need not wait years for your goals. You need not labor endlessly, hoping one day to succeed. Begin within, for within lies the key. Dare to see your goal as real now. Dare to dwell in the vision until it feels more real than the outer world, and soon the world will be forced to conform. What you imagine with faith, you will one day touch with your hands. To achieve your goals faster, remember this above all: live in the imagination of the end, and reality will hasten to catch up. Feeling is the secret force, the power that speeds your goals into reality. Thought without feeling is like a seed without soil. You may plant it, but it will never take root. The universe does not respond to empty words or idle wishes. It responds to the vibration of your inner state, to the intensity of your emotional conviction. This is why so many set goals, repeat affirmations, and write endless plans but see little change. They never allow the heart to burn with the reality of what they seek. It is feeling that moves the invisible hand of creation. Feeling is the energy that collapses time, bends circumstances, and magnetizes reality to your assumption. If you would achieve your goals faster, you must not merely think about them, you must feel them as though they are already yours. For it is not the cold thought of having a thing that brings it into being, but the warm, living feeling that it is so. Consider for a moment what happens when you feel deeply about something. If you feel fear, your body reacts, your heart races, your thoughts scatter, and the outer world begins to reflect that fear through obstacles, accidents, and delays. If you feel joy, the opposite occurs. You attract harmony, clarity, and opportunities. The same law applies to your goals. To merely think, I want success, is weak and powerless. To feel the thrill of already having it is irresistible to the subconscious mind. The subconscious accepts feeling as fact, and once impressed, it moves heaven and earth to make that feeling outwardly true. Thus, feeling is not an accessory to faith, it is the force that makes faith alive. So how does one apply this to achieving goals? Begin by entering into the scene of the wish fulfilled, not as an observer but as a participant. If your goal is wealth, do not merely think about numbers in a bank account. Feel the security, the freedom, the joy of being financially abundant. Imagine yourself walking into a store and buying what you desire without worry. Feel the relief, the excitement, the gratitude. If your goal is health, do not merely repeat, I am healthy. Instead, feel the vitality in your body, feel the strength in your limbs, feel the ease of movement, the calmness of mind. Walk in that state as though it were already yours. For every goal you have, create a living scene in your mind and immerse yourself in the emotion of its fulfillment. This emotional experience is the key that speeds your goal into reality. But here is where many fail. They confuse wishing with feeling. Wishing says, I hope one day this will happen. Feeling says, this is happening now. Wishing is weak because it looks to the future. Feeling is powerful because it anchors the desire in the present, and reality only knows the present. It does not bring you what you want one day, it brings you what you feel you are today. If you feel poor, you remain poor. If you feel rich, you begin to attract wealth. If you feel unloved, you repel love. If you feel cherished, love surrounds you. The world mirrors not what you want, but what you feel to be true. You may wonder, but how can I feel something that is not yet real? The answer is simple. You are already doing it. Every fear you have is a feeling of something not yet real. Every worry, every anxiety, every doubt is you feeling the reality of something that has not happened. And yet, do you not notice how often those fears bring about the very things you dread? You have already proven the law to yourself, only in the negative direction. Now reverse it. Instead of feeling the dread of loss, feel the joy of gain. Instead of feeling the anxiety of failure, feel the triumph of success. The same imagination that torments you with fear can bless you with faith, and the same law that delivers your nightmares will deliver your dreams if you dare to feel them real. Feeling also has the power to dissolve time. Normally, people think of goals as distant, something to reach one day in the future, but when you feel the end as present, you collapse the distance. You no longer walk toward the goal, you walk from the goal. And life responds by arranging itself swiftly to match your new state. This is why people who embody their desire emotionally often achieve it far faster than those who merely think or talk about it. They have moved the goal into their present reality by feeling, and the outer world must catch up. Do not underestimate the subtlety of this. You may think you are believing in your dream, but your feelings betray you. You may say, I am wealthy, but deep inside you still feel lack. You may affirm, I am loved, but deep inside you still feel rejection. The universe does not hear your words, it hears your feeling. If your feeling contradicts your words, the feeling always wins. This is why it is far better to cultivate the emotion of fulfillment than to repeat empty affirmations. 1 second of genuine feeling is worth more than hours of mechanical words. How then do you cultivate feeling when the outer world shows the opposite? By using the power of imagination to create inner experiences. If you cannot yet touch the wealth physically, you can touch it inwardly. If you cannot yet hear the words of praise, you can hear them inwardly. If you cannot yet enjoy the reality, you can enjoy it inwardly, and as you repeat this inner experience with deep feeling, the outer world bends to it. The subconscious cannot distinguish between a vividly felt inner reality and an external one. It accepts both as true, so give it the truth you want it to create. Another key to feeling is gratitude. Gratitude is the bridge between desire and fulfillment. When you feel gratitude, you are already acknowledging that something has been received. This is why gratitude accelerates manifestation. It places you in the state of having, not wanting. If you give thanks for your goal as though it is already achieved, you summon it with irresistible force. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, from waiting to receiving. It tells the subconscious, this is mine already, and reality rushes to make it so. Feeling is also contagious. When you carry the feeling of success, you influence others around you. They begin to respond differently. Opportunities arise, doors open. People sense the vibration you carry and treat you accordingly. Without a word, your inner state announces itself. You do not need to force, chase, or beg. Your feeling draws the right circumstances naturally. Like a magnet, it pulls what matches it. This is why it is said that success begins within. It is not a cliché, it is law. Let us return to the practical. Tonight, before you sleep, take a few moments to enter into the state of your fulfilled desire. Imagine a short, simple scene that implies your goal is achieved. Feel the emotion of it until it stirs your heart. If it is wealth, feel the joy of financial freedom. If it is love, feel the warmth of companionship. If it is health, feel the ease and energy flowing through your body. Let this feeling saturate you as you drift into sleep, for the subconscious is most receptive in that state. Do this faithfully, and you will awaken each day closer to the reality you have assumed. Understand this, feeling is not just a technique, it is the law. Thought without feeling is powerless, but when thought and feeling unite, creation is inevitable. To achieve your goals faster, stop wishing, stop doubting, stop waiting. Begin to feel now what you long for. Live as though it is done. Walk in the joy of fulfillment. Speak from the place of completion. Let your heart burn with the reality of your dream, and soon the outer world will bow to the inner force. Remember, feeling is the secret force. It is the spark that ignites imagination. It is the current that carries your desire into manifestation. It is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. If you master your feelings, you master creation itself. Choose to feel the end as real, and your goals will not delay. They will hasten to you because the universe always answers the vibration of your heart. Assumption creates acceleration. The fastest way to collapse time and achieve your goals, the world you experience, is nothing more than a mirror of what you assume to be true. It does not reflect what you desire, what you wish for, or what you plead to receive. It reflects what you assume. Assumption is the silent architect of destiny, the invisible law shaping every detail of your life. To assume is to accept something as already real, already true, already present, regardless of what the senses declare. And here lies the secret to acceleration. The moment you make an assumption with conviction, reality bends to it. Life reorganizes itself. People and circumstances align, and what once seemed far away rushes toward you with speed. If you want to achieve your goals faster, you must not wait for the outer world to give you evidence. You must assume the end as already done, and by doing so, you set in motion the law that collapses time. Assumption is not wishful thinking. It is not daydreaming about what might be. Assumption is possession in consciousness. It is the firm decision to inhabit the state of the wish fulfilled and to live from it, as though it were undeniable fact. Most people make the mistake of waiting until they see results before they believe. They say, I'll feel successful when the money comes, when the business grows, when the love appears. But this is backward. The world does not first show you success so that you may believe. It shows you success because you already assumed it inwardly. Belief precedes evidence, not the other way around. To wait for proof is to delay your blessing indefinitely. To assume without proof is to accelerate manifestation. Think of a child who puts on a costume and assumes the role of a king. For that child, there is no gap between pretending and reality. He is a king in that moment. He speaks as a king, walks as a king, thinks as a king. The world of imagination becomes more real to him than the world of appearances, and though the outer world may not recognize it, the inner state is already alive. In the same way, when you assume the state of your fulfilled desire, you become it now. You speak from it, think from it, walk from it, and soon the outer world cannot help but catch up to the inner truth. Assumption accelerates goals because it bypasses resistance. When you assume something as already done, you stop struggling, doubting, or waiting. You no longer stand as a beggar outside the gates of your desire. You walk as an owner within its walls. This inner ownership dissolves delay, for delay only exists when you see the goal as separate from you. Once you assume it, the separation vanishes, and what seemed far off comes near. Time bends to assumption, because assumption is timeless. It lives in the now. And the now is the only moment creation knows. Consider a simple example. You are expecting a letter in the mail. The moment you drop the envelope into the box, you assume it will arrive. You do not worry, doubt, or check the box every 5 minutes. You go about your life with certainty, knowing the delivery is inevitable. In the same way, when you assume your goal as already fulfilled, you release the need to force or question. You rest in the certainty that it is done, and life hastens to deliver it. The assumption itself carries the power of acceleration, but many sabotage themselves by holding contradictory assumptions. They may imagine wealth for a few minutes, but the rest of the day they assume lack. They may affirm health in the morning, but assume illness by noon. They may visualize love, but assume rejection in their hearts. The universe does not grant you what you occasionally think about. It grants you what you continually assume. If you wish to achieve your goals faster, you must make your assumption consistent, unwavering, and dominant. Hold the inner state so firmly that no outer evidence can shake it. The great challenge is to assume in the face of contradiction. When your bank account shows emptiness, dare to assume wealth. When your body feels weak, dare to assume health. When the world says no, dare to assume yes. This is where the speed of manifestation lies, not in agreeing with appearances, but in standing firm in assumption until appearances yield. The outer world is slow to change, but it must change, for it is only the shadow of your inner state. Shadows cannot resist the light that casts them. If you hold the assumption long enough, the shadow must align. Assumption also creates acceleration because it unlocks inspired action. When you assume success, you begin to act like a successful person. You make decisions differently. You carry yourself with confidence. You notice opportunities others miss. You say yes to doors others overlook. Your assumption shapes your behavior, and your behavior accelerates the outcome. This is not forced action. It is natural action flowing from identity. When you assume wealth, you carry the energy of wealth, and wealth gravitates to you. When you assume love, you radiate love, and love responds. The assumption itself begins to orchestrate your steps in perfect harmony with your desire. Now let us examine why assumption works so powerfully. The subconscious mind is the great executor of your life. It does not question, argue, or reason. It accepts whatever assumption you feed it as fact. If you assume lack, it will manifest lack. If you assume abundance, it will manifest abundance. The subconscious does not care whether the assumption is good or bad, true or false. It only knows to bring forth whatever is impressed upon it. Assumption impresses deeply because it carries the weight of belief. Unlike weak wishes or fleeting hopes, assumption has authority, and the subconscious always obeys authority. So how do you assume effectively? Begin by constructing a simple scene that implies your goal is already realized. If your goal is to own a beautiful home, imagine yourself standing at the doorway, holding the keys, or welcoming a friend inside. If your goal is to be married, imagine yourself wearing the ring, hearing your spouse call your name, or receiving words of congratulations. Keep the scene short, vivid, and emotionally satisfying. Then assume it with conviction. Do not say, "I hope this happens." Say, "This is already mine." Dwell in that assumption daily until it becomes natural. when you no longer try to convince yourself, but simply rest in the truth of it, you know the assumption has taken root. Another key to assumption is persistence. The outer world may delay, but assumption held steadily cannot fail. Do not be discouraged if results do not appear instantly. The seed takes time to break the soil, but once planted, its growth is inevitable. Persist in the assumption regardless of appearances, and soon the outer world will catch up. Remember, you are not creating something new. You are aligning with what already exists in potential. Your assumption simply selects the version of reality you will experience. The faster you assume, the faster you shift. Assumption also requires that you drop the identity of the seeker. As long as you see yourself as someone trying to reach a goal, you will remain in the state of trying. But when you assume the identity of one who already has the goal, you step into being, and being accelerates creation. You no longer chase the dream, you embody it. You no longer pursue the goal, you live from it. And because life mirrors identity, the outer world must reflect who you have assumed yourself to be. So, my friend, if you wish to achieve your goals faster, do not wait another day. Assume now. Assume wealth, assume health, assume love, assume success. Speak from the place of completion, walk from the place of fulfillment, think from the place of achievement. Refuse to waver when the world contradicts you. Refuse to wait for evidence before you believe. Evidence is nothing but the shadow. Assumption is the light. Hold the assumption, and the evidence must appear. The truth is simple. Assumption creates acceleration. What you assume with conviction manifests quickly because it eliminates distance, dissolves doubt, and commands the subconscious to bring it forth. Assumption is the master key to collapsing time. When you learn to assume the end boldly, faithfully, and consistently, you will find your goals rushing into your life with speed. No longer will you wait years for dreams to unfold. You will live in the miraculous acceleration of assumption. And one day you will look back in awe, realizing that the life you live now was once only an assumption you dared to hold. Persistence over time, the unshakable path to manifesting your goals faster. The difference between those who succeed swiftly and those who wander endlessly is not talent, luck, or circumstance. It is persistence. Every seed contains within itself the power to become a tree, but it must be watered, tended, and given time to grow. If you uproot it after a few days because you see no fruit, you destroy its chance of fulfillment. So it is with the seeds of your imagination. You may plant a vision in your mind, but unless you persist in that vision despite the contrary evidence of the senses, you will never taste its fruit. Persistence over time is the invisible force that collapses years into months, months into weeks, and weeks into moments. It does not make creation slower. It speeds it up by holding the vision steady until reality has no choice but to conform. Without persistence, imagination is wasted. With persistence, even the most impossible dream is compelled into being. Why does persistence matter? Because the outer world lags behind the inner world. When you first assume your desire as real, the inner shift is immediate, but the shadow of that inner state, the physical world, may take time to catch up. During this time, appearances may contradict your assumption. You may see lack where you have assumed abundance. You may feel weakness where you have assumed strength. You may encounter rejection where you have assumed love, and this is where most give up. They assume for a day, a week, or a month, then despair when results are slow to appear. They abandon the vision, return to the old state, and declare the law does not work. But the law has never failed. It is their persistence that failed. To persist is to remain loyal to your inner vision regardless of outer appearances. It is to refuse to be swayed by the evidence of the senses, knowing that what you see outwardly is only a delayed reflection of what you have already assumed inwardly. The shadow may be slow to change, but change it must. Imagine a ship turning on the sea. The rudder shifts instantly, but the massive vessel takes time to follow. Your assumption is the rudder, your outer world is the ship. Persistence holds the rudder steady until the ship aligns. Without persistence, you turn the rudder back and forth, and the ship drifts endlessly without direction. With persistence, the course is fixed, and the destination is inevitable. Persistence also develops faith, and faith is the true accelerator of manifestation. Each time you hold your vision despite appearances, you strengthen the conviction that inner reality governs outer fact. You become less reactive, less anxious, less desperate for proof. You grow calm, confident, unshakable. And this calmness itself speeds the process because it eliminates resistance. When you no longer question if or when your desire will come, but simply rest in the certainty that it is done, the desire manifests with surprising swiftness. The universe bends more quickly to a steady heart than to a restless one. Consider the farmer who plants his field. He does not check the soil every hour, nor does he curse the ground for not producing fruit instantly. He knows the law of growth is working invisibly. He waters, he tends, he waits, and he persists until the harvest comes. Likewise, when you persist in your assumption, you are watering the seed of your vision. Each act of persistence strengthens the unseen roots, and in due time the visible harvest must appear. If the farmer gave up after a week, he would never reap. If you give up on your vision, you will never know how close you were to breakthrough. Persistence ensures you stay the course long enough to see the promise fulfilled, but persistence is not stubborn effort. It is not straining, forcing, or endlessly fighting. Persistence is quiet loyalty to the vision. It is the inner discipline to return again and again to the state of the wish fulfilled, no matter what distractions or discouragements arise. It is saying with your heart, "This is already mine," and refusing to let appearances dictate otherwise. Persistence is gentle but firm, consistent but effortless. It is the calm refusal to move from your chosen state until the world moves to meet you there. Now, some ask, but what if I feel tired, doubtful, or weary? This is natural. The human mind is restless, and doubts will arise. Persistence does not mean you never doubt. It means you do not surrender to doubt. You may feel fear, but you return to faith. You may feel weary, but you return to vision. You may waver for a moment, but you realign quickly. This continual returning strengthens the inner state until at last it becomes second nature. You persist not by fighting doubt, but by choosing vision more often than you choose fear. And over time, vision becomes dominant and reality follows. Persistence also protects you from distraction. In the world, countless voices will try to pull you away from your goal. Friends may mock, circumstances may discourage, logic may argue against you. But persistence silences those voices. It says, "I know the truth, and I will not move." And in time, those very voices that doubted you will marvel at the speed of your success, for persistence always wins, and its victory often comes suddenly, like a flood. You may wait long with no sign, but if you persist, the manifestation often bursts forth in a moment, overwhelming you with its suddenness. This is the mystery of persistence. It seems slow, but it makes the arrival swift. Persistence also collapses time by building momentum. At first, the vision may feel weak, your assumption fragile, but each act of persistence strengthens it, like a snowball rolling down a hill. The longer you persist, the faster the momentum, until at last nothing can stop it. What began as a fragile image becomes an unstoppable force, and when that force reaches its tipping point, manifestation occurs with astonishing speed. This is why many breakthroughs come suddenly after long persistence. It was not that nothing was happening. It was that momentum was building invisibly until the visible caught up. Think of persistence as alignment with law. The law of assumption cannot fail, but your loyalty to the assumption determines how quickly it works. If you assume wealth today, but assume lack tomorrow, you are planting and uprooting. But if you assume wealth today, tomorrow, and the next day without wavering, the law is free to deliver swiftly. It is not the law that delays, it is your inconsistency. Persistence removes inconsistency, and once consistency is established, acceleration occurs naturally. So, how do you practice persistence in daily life? Begin each morning by affirming the end. Enter into the feeling of fulfillment, not as something to come, but as something already here. Throughout the day, when appearances contradict, gently return to your inner vision. Refuse to argue with reality. Simply remind yourself that the shadow must catch up to the light. At night, before sleep, once again assume the end with feeling. Let this be your rhythm day after day until the vision feels natural. And when it feels natural, it is only a matter of time before it becomes visible. My friend, persistence is the great secret of acceleration. It transforms desire into inevitability, imagination into fact, vision into experience. Do not despair if results seem slow. Persist and they will hasten. Do not waver when the world contradicts. Persist and the world must yield. Do not abandon your dream because of delay. Persist and delay will dissolve. The world is clay in the hands of persistence, and the hand that shapes it is your unwavering assumption. Remember this, persistence over time is not your enemy, it is your greatest ally. It teaches you faith, strengthens your vision, and collapses the seeming distance between you and your goal. What may take others years can come to you swiftly if you simply refuse to let go. The outer world is slow, but persistence is patient, and patience is powerful. Hold fast, and the day will come when the vision you nurtured so faithfully bursts forth into reality faster than you ever dreamed possible. Living from the end, becoming the version of yourself that already has the goal. The greatest secret to manifesting your goals faster is this: you must learn to live from the end, not toward it. To live toward something is to chase it, to always see it as distant, to confess with every step that you do not yet have it. But to live from the end is to enter into the state of fulfillment now, to see yourself as already the one who has achieved, already the one who has arrived. The outer world insists on separation. It tells you your dream is far away, your success will take years, your healing may or may not come, your breakthrough is uncertain. But the truth is that the moment you dare to live as though your desire is already complete, you align yourself with the reality where it is so. And because life reflects the state you occupy, the world must rearrange itself quickly to match your assumption. Living from the end is not pretending. It is possession in consciousness, and consciousness always creates reality. Think of an actor on stage. He does not try to become the character. He assumes he is the character. He speaks, moves, and thinks from that role, and the audience accepts it as real. Similarly, when you live from the end, you are stepping into the role of the self who has already accomplished the goal. If your goal is wealth, you must no longer think as the one who lacks, but as the one who has. If your goal is health, you must no longer act as the one who is ill, but as the one who is strong. If your goal is love, you must no longer imagine yourself lonely, but as the one who is cherished and secure. The more faithfully you inhabit this state, the faster the world bends to reflect it, for life cannot resist the conviction of one who already is. Living from the end collapses time because it erases the sense of waiting. Waiting affirms that the desire is not yet here. Striving affirms that it is far away, but being affirms that it is now. The subconscious does not operate on time, it operates on state. If you persistently live from the state of your fulfilled desire, the subconscious assumes it as true and externalizes it without delay. What most call miracles are simply the natural outworking of living from the end. But many stumble here because they confuse living from the end with daydreaming. Daydreaming says, one day I hope to have this. Living from the end says, this is mine now. Daydreaming observes from the outside. Living from the end participates from the inside. For example, if you desire a home, daydreaming imagines walking past it and wishing for it. Living from the end imagines standing in its kitchen, cooking dinner, hearing the laughter of family inside its walls. One sees from a distance, the other lives within, and only the latter has creative power. This principle applies to every goal. If you desire wealth, do not merely dream of winning the lottery or stumbling upon riches. Live from the end by seeing yourself managing your accounts, paying bills with ease, enjoying purchases without fear. Feel the freedom of it. If you desire health, do not dream of someday being healed. Live from the end by feeling the vitality in your body, walking with energy, breathing with ease. Feel the reality of strength. If you desire love, do not wish for someone to come. Live from the end by feeling yourself already loved, already wanted, already secure in companionship. Feel the warmth of it. Whatever you seek, the secret is to embody it now, not as a future event, but as a present fact. Living from the end also eliminates fear. Fear arises only when you believe the outcome is uncertain. If you live toward your goal, you worry it may not come, that obstacles may block you, that time may run out. But if you live from the end, fear dissolves, for the end is already assured. You no longer wonder if it is already done. And this confidence itself accelerates the manifestation, for nothing slows creation like doubt. When you live as though your goal is complete, you eliminate resistance, and creation flows unhindered. Some may say, but how can I live from the end when my senses show me the opposite? The answer is simple. You already do this unconsciously with fear. When you worry about a future problem, you are living from the end of failure, even though it has not happened. You feel it, rehearse it, react to it as though it were real. And how often do those fears come true? You have already proven the power of living from the end negatively. Now use the same power positively. Instead of rehearsing disaster, rehearse fulfillment. Instead of living in the state of lack, live in the state of abundance. Instead of embodying defeat, embody victory. The law does not discriminate, it only reflects the state you occupy. Living from the end also transforms your behavior naturally. When you assume the identity of the fulfilled self, you begin to act in ways aligned with that reality. A person who lives from wealth carries themselves with confidence, makes bold decisions, and notices opportunities that others miss. A person who lives from health chooses actions that express vitality, speaks with energy, and radiates life. A person who lives from love carries warmth, patience, and openness that attract companionship. These actions are not forced, they flow naturally from the state you live in, and these actions accelerate the manifestation because they align the outer with the inner. The key is consistency. Living from the end is not a momentary exercise, it is a daily posture. Each morning you awaken as the one who already is. Each night you drift to sleep in the feeling of fulfillment. Each moment in between, when doubt arises, you return to the end and dwell there. This persistence in the state makes it natural, and once it is natural, it is inevitable. Reality has no choice but to reflect it, because reality always mirrors the dominant state of consciousness. Living from the end is also the antidote to striving. Striving keeps you chasing, but never arriving. You chase money, chase health, chase success, chase love, and the more you chase, the more it runs. Why? Because the state of chasing affirms the absence of having. But when you live from the end, you stop chasing and start being. And being draws the goal effortlessly, for the goal is no longer outside of you, it is within you. You are no longer a seeker, you are a possessor, and possession accelerates arrival. Imagine for a moment two people with the same goal. One says, I hope one day to succeed. I will work hard, wait long, and maybe it will happen. The other says, I am already successful. I live in that reality now. Which of these will achieve faster? The second always, not because of luck, but because the law of life mirrors state, not effort. Effort without alignment is slow. Assumption with alignment is swift. Living from the end aligns you instantly with the reality you seek, and the outer world bends to deliver it. So how do you begin? Close your eyes and construct a scene that implies your desire is fulfilled. Keep it short and vivid. If you desire promotion, imagine shaking hands with your boss as he congratulates you. If you desire marriage, imagine hearing someone call you by your new name. If you desire health, imagine a friend saying, you look so well. Enter the scene and feel it as real. Then carry that feeling into your waking life. Walk, talk, and think as the one who already has. Let this state dominate you until it becomes your natural home. My friend, living from the end is the highest form of faith, for it declares the unseen as seen, the future as present, the desire as complete. It is not fantasy but law, for what you live in consciousness must manifest in reality. The world cannot resist the conviction of one who already is. This is the secret of acceleration. Stop living toward your goals as if they are far away, and start living from them as if they are here. The moment you do, you collapse the distance, dissolve the weight, and bring the future rushing into the now. Remember this truth, the world always mirrors the state you live in. Live in lack, and lack persists. Live in waiting, and waiting continues. Live in fulfillment, and fulfillment appears. The choice is yours. If you would achieve your goals faster, choose this day to live from the end. Walk in the joy of completion. Think from the place of possession. Feel the reality as yours now. Do this, and what others wait years to achieve will come to you with surprising speed, for life has no choice but to give form to the state you faithfully inhabit, and when it does, you will realize that the end you once imagined was never far away. It was within you all along.